check A12.
We're 9:45, so we're going to start. Good morning. I'm going to try not to scream in the microphone. I normally don't have a mic. Those of you, anybody seen me before present? Nobody in here yet. I have the teacher voice that's nice and loud, so I'll try not to scream, but I need the mic for those that are streaming in. Okay? All right, we're going to get started a little bit. Those of you that don't know me and haven't seen me, my name is Lisa Ward. I'm actually a technology instructional manager for Southwestern Illinois College. Before that, I was on a content specialist team for ISB that went around helping with learning supports was my title. So anything that recalled a barrier in your classroom, there I was. So tech, special education, anything that was a barrier, I had. Other content specialists were ELA, math. I had everything else. Okay? Just so you know, I do bounce a little bit. I'm going to be behind that podium an awful lot, but I like to walk as well. So ADHD is not just for children. So yes, I'm going to bounce. Yes, I can handle questions at any time you have them. Raise your hand. I will repeat your questions just because if you're farther back, I want to do that so those that are streaming in will be able to hear your question before I answer it. Please feel free to ask me a question. If I've said something and you go, I don't know, ask me a question. Special education teacher, 30 years. I can teach you something 19, 20 different ways. Okay, I'll meet you where you're at. We're going to have people coming in for different things as well. There I am. The Educator Up is a consulting thing that I started after I stopped being the ISB, before I started being Southwest Illinois College. But it just gives me an avenue to be able to give you resources and to connect to it. My email will be on the end of this. Do write it down. We are going to be crazy busy for the next hour. They gave me the circus room. I took that as a challenge. So we are going to be having some fun times, okay? So this slide deck is in the app, so you can access things. I have a couple of things for you here. We're going to talk about AI. The QR code that's there is if you want to scan it with your phone and get to the Google Drive that had resources there and available. By all means, there you can. There's the bit.ly if you don't like the QR code scan. And notice those are both on the slide deck that's in the app for the conference, okay? So what you're going to walk away from today, we're going to talk about drafting and compliance. Yay! Okay. Data synthesis. Who loves doing data? Excel spreadsheet strategies, right? Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do that without knowing how to do spreadsheets. Behavior and instruction, yes, okay. And RTF, a toolkit for role task format. If you've been to any of my other AI ones, we talk about prompting and how to design those prompts to fit your needs. I like the role task format because it really fits with educators' brains, okay? So on we go. Burnout reality. Is this news to anybody in here? That's not news, okay? 40% of your time is non-instructional work. You just want to teach, right? AI is going to handle that. Approximately 6 hours saved each week for every teacher. Who would like 6 hours back? Yes, okay. So you're going to go with that mindset here. You're responsible for not only planning, documentation, collaboration, so many pieces, okay? We're going to talk how AI is going to help you with all of that. We're going to hit a lot of resources. We're going to hit a lot of tools. We're going to hit a lot of things. Write down your questions. I will answer any of them in the app as well, because if you have them, someone else might have them as well. I'll keep an eye on the app through the day and even tomorrow, or you can send me an email if I go over something too fast. Please tell me. Okay, so AI is your jetpack, not autopilot. Please keep that in mind. They will hallucinate sometimes. In other words, you'll ask for something and it'll come back here like, well, no, that's not right. You are the end person for that, okay? You are the clinical decision maker. AI drafts it for you. How many times do you sit down to make something or to write something and you're just stuck? Writer's block is a real thing. AI can be your beginning, okay? And then your expertise, AI's efficiency, there we go. More time for your students. Okay. You're going to identify a need. That's a task you want to do. What's your need? What do you have today? If you sat down in front of the computer, what would you like for it to do for you? Making coffee isn't one of the things, just so you know, okay? AI generates the first pass. It gives you a first pass of everything you need. You can confirm it, customize it, and then you approve and use it. So you are in the loop. You are considered the human in the loop. So far, so good? Awesome. Golden rule, COPA, privacy. You might see FERPA in there as well. This is student data, something I need you to be very, very cautious of when you're doing something, especially in an outside tool. We're going to talk about the differences. If you're a Google school, who are Google schools? Do we have Microsoft schools as well? Awesome. If you are behind your Microsoft instance, if you are behind your Google instance, it does not let the outside model, Gemini and Google does not go outside your school account when you use Gemini. Microsoft, you use Copilot, it does not go outside, it stays in your instance, so less wary. But if you use Magic School, we're going to talk about that, a couple other tools, you want to make sure PII is not in there, personal identifiable information. It's always Johnny, okay, or student one. You can tell the AI, student one is, and give information without using their name. Do not use your school, okay? My school. When it writes something, it's going to put my school there. Go back and edit that before you put that on an IEP, please, okay? Don't put student one on the IEP either. But when you're using the AI tools, you want to be very cautious of PII information. Includes your city, includes any of those things. Don't put those in there, all right? So no real student names. District-approved platforms if you're using sensitive data. So you may have to check with your techs in your school, can I use Gemini on here? There's a Gemini for education. There's a Microsoft Copilot for education as well. Okay. Off we go. Here are 4 chatbots. In a lot of my resources, I tell you a chatbot. You could use a chatbot to do this. These are the 4 I'm talking about. Copilot if you're a Microsoft school, or if you just have Microsoft yourself. Okay, you have Copilot. Gemini by Google. Used to be called Bard. Now it's Gemini. I don't know why. ChatGPT. Be very cautious. This is the keyword, the buzzword to use this. ChatGPT uses everything you do to learn how to do more, which is fantastic that it's learning, but you really have to be cautious of what you're putting in there, okay? I do suggest having an account with that. It can be the free account, not the paid account, because then it keeps your history. If you go back to it and you go, I did something 2 weeks ago, what was that chat? I like that prompt. You can go back and find it if you have an account. If you don't have an account, it just wipes it away that you didn't do it, okay? And then Claude by Anthropic. Do I have any tech people? Techie people? Usually I don't. But if you have a techie person, okay, Claude is better. Claude is a really good language model as well. I use it quite often. I have a Copilot as well. Those are my 2 favorite. But Claude gets a little technical, so just know that, okay? All right, what's RTF prompting? RTF prompting, role, task, format. Easiest thing when you sit down to a chat bot. What role do you want the bot to be? Is it a special education teacher? Is it an administrator? Is it as a principal? Okay, tell it what role it's going to be. Task, what do you want it to do? Generate, create, those are your verbs. Okay, and then format, how do you want them to give the information back? Table, slide deck. Make a slide deck. It can do it. Okay, so here's a sample. You are a special technology teacher in a self-contained autistic classroom. Task, create 3 hands-on activities to help students with fine motor skills. I like to give it a number. Okay, sometimes I'll say 10 and I'll only take 5 of them because I don't like the other 5. Shoot for the stars, okay? Provide each activity with the supplies needed, how to model for the students, and why this activity helps to focus on fine motor skills. I really like this if you are a supervisor or a mentor to a new teacher and you know that those students need certain things, because it puts it in a lovely little format that not only explains how, what materials they need, but why is it important? Because sometimes we need to tell them the why. Okay? I like this for teacher assistants as well. A lot of our teacher assistants are right out of high school. Agree? We need to tell them why they're doing it this way. It might not be the way they learned to do something, but this is why we are doing it. Okay? So far, so good? I have that resource, and I'll show you how to get it at the end, if you'd like. So, quick pulse check. Hands up for everybody that's used AI personally. Anybody ask Siri or somebody do it? Yep. I love Alexa. She'll set the times. Mom does her grocery list on there for me, so when we get to the grocery store, we know what it is. So, okay. Have you ever used it for work, officially and unofficially? Yeah? Okay. What'd you do with it? Can somebody tell me what you've done with it? Yes?
When my brain's too tired to help me come up with other ways to say things in therapy, if I want it to be, pro one way or,
Yep. Brain is tired. Yes. Yes. How do I figure this out? Polishing emails. Google Goblin tools. If you ever need to rewrite an email because you wrote it the way you wanted to say something to a person, Goblin tools is your go-to. We'll talk about that for something else as well, but my go-to when I want to say something after the day I've had, and I'm thinking, maybe that's not appropriate, drop it into Goblin tools. It rewrites it. It can even make it more snarky just for fun. Okay. Anybody got anything different that they've used it for? Yes, ma'am. Scenario storylines, yes, most definitely. Yes.
IEP goals.
IEP goals, yes, indeed. We're going to talk about those.
We made choice boards for E-learning days.
Oh, yes, choice boards. Fantastic, because you can have it do in a tic-tac-toe form if you want.
We'll do specific social stories too.
Social stories. Yep, social stories. And Canva does graphical ones. I'll show you one. Okay, I'm going to switch mics. Yes. The characters they like, yes. How many of you know all the characters in Minecraft? Maybe you do and you don't want to, but if you have that student, ask Copilot to put the characters in there. It's all good. All right, am I switched up, Derek? Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to bounce a little bit here. So we're going to go with instruction, lesson planning, reading differentiated, visual supports. We're going to bounce around. If you want to spend more time on any one of these, flag me down. Again, ADHD, not just for children, okay? All right, so with that, you might know that you spend hours aligning lesson plans to curriculums. Who did that way back when? Who does it now? I'm going to change that for you. I know we so want to, but it's so much faster this way, okay? So we had a couple of hands up there. So we can have it drafted for us. Standards align, even essential elements if you are in the DLM side of things. Tell it DLM essential elements, and that's where it will go and grab, okay? Chatbots, and EDU aid as well. The resources I have down here all have a free platform, and I have a list in the Google Drive of all their stipulations as well. So we may not go to every one of them, but know that that's there, okay? Okay, so there we go. So sample prompt. I went to Magic School to do this one. Okay, I want to create a standards-aligned lesson plan for a third grade ELL class to identify the main idea. There's my, if you put a code in there, it pulls that information. You don't have to type it all out, okay? Oh, sorry, I didn't stop my Teams. Campus wants me to jump into a meeting. No. Include UDL options for students with varied reading levels, students on the essential element standards, and use generic examples only. Does this make sense? Can I make this longer? Yes. I can add in specific things for specific students. So this is what Magic School gave me. It generated the lesson. I'm going to pull up the actual lesson as well so you can see how it did this. But learning objectives, there's assessments in there, differentiation. Not only did it give me below grade level, on grade level, and above grade level. How often do we forget those? Okay? Especially in your environment. You may have 6 students that are below grade level, but you've got 1, but you want to do this comprehension, 1 story. What can I give that 1 that is here? So it'll break it down for you. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit. Sorry, we're going to bounce a little bit here. The whole document I got there. So this is the Google Drive you have access to with that. And we're going to go into this. Come on, here we go. Well, I thought I put it there. I guess I need to add it there. I will add it. I apologize. Okay, let's go from here. Okay, I'm going to pop into Magic School. That's where I'm going to go. Has anybody used Magic School yet? It's lovely, isn't it? Now they have, of course, a paid platform. You don't need to. Fill me in. Now, if you're using your Gmail for your school, you may have to ask them to, oh, I should have gone in my other thing, to allow it in your Google Classroom, okay, in your Google institution. I went the wrong way. There we go. No. It's going to make me do that anyways. Oh, I didn't capitalize Illinois, that's why it's wrong. We're just going to make it think again. Okay, I will bop to it in a minute. Okay, differentiating reading materials. Okay. So there's lots of different ways. Magic School can differentiate as well, so you just use one account, but I really like DIFIT. DIFIT for Teachers. Has a fantastic thing because you can also grab novels. Who works with middle school, high school? And they always have those reading. Nobody middle school, high school? Okay. You can grab any PDF of what it is you're working on in the classroom and have it choose not only the reading level that you would, sorry, I keep going away from the microphone, he's going to get after me. Not only can you choose the reading level you'd like it to change it to, you can also change the language. So if you do have ELL students as well, you can do kindergarten in Spanish. Now, I've passed these 2 Spanish-speaking people because I didn't know if it was right. So before I can say, yes, this does a really good job, everything I've handed to our translation people at SWIC have said, this is really good, where'd you get this? DIFIT, there you go. It is free. Okay. It will generate some activities as well. You can generate quiz questions if you need to do that. That's available. It will make a nice little puzzle out of it as well. So lots of things within the DIFIT free. Now the DIFIT paid one, I haven't really found a use for it because it does a lot of worksheets. How many of those work well with worksheets in your classrooms? Yeah, none. Okay, so it does have a place for some, but for special education, I would not bop to that at all. Okay. So that's DIFIT for Teachers. Visual supports and social stories. Social stories are fantastic to write it here. Not only can you put in a student's name, now all of these, Canva Magic Design is the one we're going to go into. All of these will allow you to put student A instead of the child's name. I suggest doing that, okay? But you can write a social story that meets a specific need for the student you're working with. You can also incorporate Minecraft if you'd like. Bluey, how many hear Bluey all day long? Okay, yeah, so all day long. I don't want to write a story about Bluey. Just add that in. Let the chatbot take care of it for you, okay? It will take care of it for you, okay? So it can do a personal story with it. So we're gonna write a story for a student with autism about what to expect during a fire drill. We all have them, we're all gonna do them, okay? Maybe we want a social story. Use simple language, first person perspective, and include cues for each step. No student identifiers, but you could put student 1 and replace that if you'd like, okay? So Canva. Canva is awesome for K-12 teachers. It's free, the whole platform. I'm in college, I can't get it free. I work with a K-12 school, so I have an account there, so I can use it for free. But everything, the AI piece that's mostly, you get more credits on the premium, you have for free, all right? So Canva, when I did this, Copilot gives me this. Okay, this is a result from Copilot. Talks about my fire drill story, and it writes it all out. It can tell you where to maybe place in pictures, okay, things of that nature. But Canva, let's back up. Canva gives you the picture. Let's make this closer. So this is what Canva's given me. Okay, stop what I'm doing. Tells me it's going to be loud. Stand and line up quietly. I stand, I line up first person. It picked the pictures, it put the pictures in, it made it gorgeous. You can print this out big, put it on the wall, walk through it if you know there's going to be a drill that day, okay? Or if you need something specific for a student. It also gave me several options to choose from. Log in with my email. Oh, I want my other one. Nope, doesn't want to send me one. So, Canva Magic Layers is what you're going to do with this. Or you can just click that you want to create a project. It's up here as well, what you would like to do. Canva code, Magic Write will do that. That's the AI. So all the things that have the word magic within Canva will generate it with AI. And if you want something that's visual with pictures, this is the place to go. Like I said, K-12, you have 100% free premium license. So yes, use your school email. Depending upon how your school manages your Gmail account, check with them first. Okay? If they give you any pushback and they want to know why, send me an email. I'll send you all the reasons why it's a good thing to do. And what the COPA, it is under the SOPA guidelines. Canva is there so that your ITs can check that and know that it is accessible and it hides the PII information, it doesn't sell it, all of those things are there, and it is on the SOPA list for the state of Illinois. So shouldn't be much pushback. If you get pushback, send me an email. I'll send them the documentation from the LTCs that say, yes, please do that. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to go to the lovely drafting and compliance. Okay, present levels. How many times do you sit down to write that, and writer block is there? It's writer's block. Where do I start? Okay, where do I start with this? There are a couple of things to work with this. I love IEP Copilot. Again, it's free. All right. So based on anonymized assessment results, you have those assessments. The ELA teacher, the math teacher, you've done your own testing, you have all of these numbers. What do you do with them? You give them to the chatbot or to IEP Copilot, okay? And then you ask it to draft a present level academic achievement, functional performance paragraph. If it's a large one, paragraphs. If you just want a short one, don't put the S on. Okay, highlight the strengths, areas of needs, and how disability affects access to general education, because that's what you want to write in your paragraph, right? And you have data. So this is Playground IEP. That's where the IEP goal is. Okay, there is a link to it live on the slide deck as well. And this is John's IEP feedback. Okay. That one is in my drive. John's IEP. This is what it gave me for his IEP, which we'll do as well. So academic data, data reading, here's in writing, here's math, accuracy, so forth. My PLAF that I asked for. Strengths, weaknesses and suggestions for improvement. Here's a text, an introduction to who John is. This took me under a minute because I uploaded a Word document, a Google Doc, anything like that with the data I have, all of the numbers, and asked it what I'd like it to do with this. Reading, writing, in math, functional behavioral performance. If we have data on there, which I asked for, I did just ask it to build me the data as well because I don't actually work with a student at the moment. Gave me both. And again, do I copy and paste this right into the IEP? No. I have to read it. And as I'm reading it, oh, this is an anecdote that will back that up. Oh, this is more clarity on what it's saying. You are the person to do that. But when that writer's block is there, and it's the 9th one you've done in a day, they tend to sound the same, don't they? The nuts and bolts are close to the same. So let IEP Goal or IEP Playground or any of the chat bots do the heavy lifting, get it in order, and then go back through and modify things, add anecdotes that are personal that you know can back up that data, okay? Or just to make that connection with the student as a student, because that's really where you come into play with that, and then you copy it, and then it goes into the IEP. Worthwhile? Under a minute. And my document that I fed to it was not formatted pretty. It wasn't formatted in sentences. It was bullet points of test, date, and score. Test, date, and score. Okay, observational notes that somebody sent me on a Post-it. I mean, any of those things, you can just keep a running document, and when it comes time to do this, upload it and let it do the legwork. Make sense? Okay. All right. All right, IEP goal writing. Before, oh, so many reports in your hands, right? Matching it up to essential element standards, matching up to standards, but modifying it so it reads in that grade level of 9th grade, but a student at the 2nd grade level. That was the hardest thing when I wrote goals. I have a student reading at the 2nd grade, but I have to write a goal that matches with their grade level, being 9th. It's hard to do, okay? So again, I want to point out IEPQ, and I had a conversation with her earlier. My login doesn't work anymore. She's fixing that for me. If you have new teachers that you're working with, yes, chatbots can do a wonderful thing with this. IEP Copilot can do a wonderful thing with this. But you still have to understand writing those goals, and I strongly suggest IEPQ. It's free. If you work for a non-public school, you have a choice on there to say that's where you work, okay? Doesn't have to be the standard K-12 school. It could be a non-public as well. There's 3 choices that you can sign up through. And if you ever get stuck, they have one choice that says reach out. Please do. They'll get you in there. It's a great way to teach new teachers, or if you've been a regular ed, general ed teacher, and now you're into SPED, wrap your head around building those goals and what that means. And in the state of Illinois, it's fantastic that we have functional behavioral goals, because those are your social emotional goals. So I have a lot of teachers that come into the state of Illinois, well, I can't write a goal for them being prepared in class. Oh, yes, you can. It's part of our social emotional goals. And IEPQ will help you talk through those as well and build those goals that are the life skills that we want them to work on, as well as those math and science and ELA and all that good stuff, okay? So I'm gonna draft a sample SMART IEP goal. We want it to be a SMART goal. Most people want it to be a SMART goal. But if you have a specific thing in your district, we want your goals to be follow this, put that in the prompt. Tell the chat or the IEP Copilot what structure you want that IEP goal to be in. A student with autism to support the task of initiating during independent work. Generic language, no student identifiers. So it'll write it generic and you need to do the filling out of it, okay? This is what Magic School got me. I like Magic School with this because it gave me a lovely little chart to follow along with as well. So goal 1, there it is listed of what they developed for that goal, and the frequency, observation date, progress, and notes, all within a table. So Magic School can run that really well. It is part of the free program. A lot of people say they don't have the special ed things in the free Magic School. Yes, they do. Some deep dive stuff they don't, but this is there, and that's the #1 bread and butter IEP goals. And there's about 6 of them. I just took that. It is in the deck as well. Playground IEP does it a little bit more for what your IEP would read, okay? Not a worksheet necessarily. To me, both of them work really well to make the goals, but it depends upon your learning modality and your teaching style as well. We all read, we all look, we all process differently. Choose the one that works best for you, okay? You can do it straight from a chatbot as well. You can upload a copy of what you like. Maybe there's a table you like to use to process those. Upload that table and ask it to use the attached document and then build these goals. And it'll basically make that table for you however you uploaded a document. I've done one before. I said fill in the blanks. Put a document up there and let it fill in the blanks. Okay, monitoring and graphing. Everybody really good with Excel and Google Sheets, and you can print off a graph whenever you want it? Yeah, most aren't. Or you do it and all of a sudden the x-axis and the y-axis are reversed, and how do you get that to go back the other way? And it's a lot of time with that, okay? So if you have data, now I did this in Copilot, so you don't even need to go into a spreadsheet if you don't want to. Now, if you have Gemini in your school account for Google and you go into Sheets, you have a little Gemini up in the corner. You can click and tell it what you want it to build, a bar graph, a line graph with this data, and it'll just do it for you. I did this as if you didn't even want to go into a spreadsheet. Who's spreadsheet nervous? Be honest. Yeah, sometimes it gets overwhelming. You don't need to. This is the data I gave it. I did give it a table. It could just be a paragraph as well, okay? And then it gave me the trend over 6 weeks. And then it gave me a paragraph to go with it. And all I did was put in that prompt at the top and gave it a document with the data. Now, I had somebody ask earlier, collecting that data. It's not on the slide deck here, and if you need more information afterwards, send me an email, and I'll be happy to show you how to do this. I used to have a QR code for every student that went to a form. In the Google form, it would have each of the goals for that student, and when they pick the goal, so any teacher, para, anybody that's assessing a student on any one of their goals, scans a QR code, there's the form for Johnny, okay? They choose the goal, and then there's blanks to fill in. What they've reached depends upon the goal as to how many things you can feed in the form or how many they need to type it in. And they hit send. That goes to a sheet. And then a couple weeks before the IEP, I'd go to Johnny's Google Sheet, and I can sort it by math, have it do a graph. I can sort it by ELA, or if you're using a chat bot, you could just copy the table, put it into the chat bot, and say, make an evaluation of the trends for the last 6 weeks, break it apart into math, ELA, functional skills, whatever the goals are. Break it down into goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, and it'll produce a map, it'll produce a line chart, it'll produce a bar graph, whatever you're asking it to produce in each of those categories for the goal. So it's a good way for the teachers, paras, anybody that's assessing whatever goal or notice to scan a QR code for one student, key that in, send, and then you to go to it whenever you need to, grab the data, throw it in your chat bot, and have it generate your graphs for you. Sound a little faster right now? How many sit with a calculator trying to figure that out too? I used to do that way, way, way back when. Okay. So, if you're a Microsoft school, Excel has Copilot in the corner as well. So you can still be in your Excel data. And they have Microsoft Forms, can do the same thing as Google Forms, okay, to collect those data. If you need help on how to set that up, how to set up the QR code, please send me an email. Usually, I'll record a video on how to do it, because I find people learn better that way. I can do step-by-step on paper too. Just let me know which you prefer. I prefer doing a video. Okay. Behavior data synthesis, so behavior patterns. We're going to do the same thing. Most of you, if you have PBIS or MTS software, it's built in now. Almost all of the ones that I know the schools in Illinois, there's an AI in there that'll generate your document for you, okay, and see your trends. Chat bots, again, anonymized data. Don't put the student names in there, okay? But they can do a track with it. So, oops, back that up. So you can review the minutes. So same thing, bringing things up. I want to get to another thing though. Okay, so I do have a teacher pay teachers, just know that, but the AI playbook is there, but I put 50% off on everything. Just know that that's there. But I want to talk to you about research. Where did that go? Research, hang on. I skipped a lot. Where did that go? Okay, so research. It went all the way down to the end. Scaffolding. Let's go to scaffolding first. Where am I? Okay. So scaffolding a lesson plan. I know I'm walking away. Scaffolding a lesson plan. How many work in a school district where your students are going inclusion into different places and you're in with different teachers and all of that? And a teacher has this lesson plan. It's lovely. It's gorgeous. It's not going to work for your kid. Ask for a digital copy or scan the paper one they give you. Okay. Upload it and ask it to differentiate this for me, okay? Or if it's on a topic you know your student isn't going to want to get into at all, have it change it to a different topic, but make sure your concepts are there, all right? Goblin Tools is my favorite for this one. I told you we go see Goblin Tools. So pacing within Goblin Tools is really good. You do not need an account for Goblin Tools. It is completely free. You don't have to put your name on it, anything like that. We're going to talk about a magic to-do. In the magic to-do, I'm doing baking chocolate chip cookies. This tells me the steps it will take and what I need to do to make chocolate chip cookies. Now, I had it on the 5-pepper scale, which means I wanted lots of details. Lots of details. I can change the pepper scale down and have it generated again. I can estimate how much time I want it to be and how much time it's going to take. I can prioritize different tabs. Once I have the to-do written, I can also let it pace what we're doing. And that's in the task master. So depending upon what you want your students to be working on, you can show this at the screen. It's going to take 1 hour and 23 minutes to do this task. And it's telling me what I need to do. So when I click play, this is good to have up on your screen. When I click play, it's starting to count down the time. I'll try not to move. It's counting down the time, and this is what we're on right now. When it thinks we should have gathered all the necessity that we need to get ready, so gathering all our ingredients, it will move down to preheat the oven next. So if you have a to-do set, what you want it to process through, you can have this play on the screen of what we need to do next and so forth. You can also do it so a student can have it on their laptop or a Chromebook or a tablet, and they say, this is what you need to do. And you can make it as gigantic of steps as you want or simplistic steps that you want, okay, depending upon the task you've done. But they can look and see if it says I should have it in the oven and I don't even have all of my ingredients, we have to go back and start again. But it helps a student independently pace themselves depending upon what it is you've put in the task. I was hungry last night, I put cookies on there. So it could be I need to do this math activity of 5 steps, 5 things on the math, and then I need to move to science. And it can be pacing them through it here. Now, I would like if they put little pings every time it changed, but they haven't gotten there yet. I did suggest it to them so that it'd ping when it's time to move to the next step. Not there yet, but they were very open to the discussion. It just helps it go through. It does do it with a mobile app as well. So if you have those independent teens or preteens, and you want to get them through what they need to do for the next hour, again, it all depends upon what you're at and what you're working on. But I think it's a great pacing thing for them. I like it as well if I want to plan out a lesson or a unit. I can put that unit, I can add the document to the to-dos, and it'll pace out how long it will take to do that document. And I can modify that by telling them it's a student that takes twice as much time or something of that nature, and it'll follow through with that. Does that make sense? Okay. So depending upon what your needs are within Goblin Tools. Back to Goblin Tools just a minute. Formalizer. I love this. So say you have an email you need to send to a parent that yet again forgot to give their medication to their student. Never happens, right? Or they haven't brought the folder back for the permission slip and they need to have it tomorrow, they're not going. Okay, lots of reasons like that. And you've been reminding them for 3 weeks now and they still haven't sent it back. You know what you want to say, but you need to change it, okay? So let's switch, we'll do the admin side of it. You have a para that doesn't show up on time. I'm sorry if there's any paras in here, I know you're always on time, okay? Never shows up on time, doesn't call when they're late, all that kind of stuff. I find this one's a little bit easier, okay? So let's type to them. You're gonna send an email. I see that today you were late again. Why? We need to be on time because our students are here on time. Well, not always, but you know the thing. Okay. Fix it. You'd like to say something that to us. But we want to make it more professional, more technical, more accessible, more polite maybe, okay? Less snarky. I have to use that often sometimes. Angrier. Sometimes just do that for fun, okay? You want it to be angrier. More formal or informal. I'm going to make this one more professional. I can change the pepper level as well and make it really more professional, and I can convert it. I noticed you're running late again today. Could you please ensure punctuality moving forward? Our students rely on a timely schedule, and it's important that we all adhere to it. Thank you, attention to this matter. There we go. And then just for fun, every once in a while, be more sarcastic, because sometimes we need to laugh, okay? Wow, look at that, you actually managed to show up late again today. What a groundbreaking achievement. You gotta laugh, okay? So type what you wanna say and let Goblin make the change, okay? I know how many want to be more snarky all the time. Absolutely fix it, or don't, your choice. Not really, but all right. Just leave it to his chaos, okay? So that's the formalizer within Goblin Tools. I absolutely love it. I like the judge as well. So sometimes you've read an email, you got home, you had 4 days in one day, and you read this email from a parent, and you're like, oh, they did not just say that to me. Because your day is already in your head. An email doesn't show tone of voice. Well, the snarky ones kind of did, but it doesn't show tone of voice, okay? Drop it into the judge and ask it, judge this, okay? It's gonna tell you, by a perspective that does not have 4 days in one day, of whether it was really as snarky as you think it is. It also allows you to suggest a response. Now notice all of these Goblin Tools things where it says enter your text, there's a microphone there. Works on the app as well, because sometimes I need to draft something on the drive home. Hit that microphone, talk as you're driving, and the dude make it less snarky, because you know when we drive, we tend to be a little snarky. It has that microphone there to do it. This is awesome for some of your students that are learning how to draft a letter. They need to ask somebody something. They're going to answer a question for a job interview, for those life skills. Have them put that in there. They can use the microphone to record it, and then have it judge how they did with that. Something they can do independently, okay? Because if they have screen readers up here, they can click and it'll read the response back, okay? And what the judgment is of what they did, okay? What they typed. So this is used for all of those things. Anybody do culinary with your students? Cooking all sorts of things? Yes, awesome. Or having them try to figure out what to cook. So the chef is also my favorite. You can type in what ingredients you have in front of you and it'll come up with a recipe for you. So much easier sometimes. You go to the pantry going, what am I going to make with all of this? Type in the things you want, hit the chef, and it's going to give you a recipe. Okay, so one of my favorite things with Goblin Tools. Okay, I'm just going to go on down. Okay, so Magic To Do we talked about. You can type in your to-dos as well, but give it a prompt of what you'd like to do and have it tell. If you have students that are at that level as well, have them type in what they need to do by Friday. And it'll help break it down for them, either individual tasks or use a lighter pepper. 2 peppers is enough maybe for the steps they need, okay? Helps them to organize some things that they need. Pacing guides. TeachMate AI does great unit plans, and you can have it modify and pace it for you in TeachMate AI. Okay. Goblin Tools does that as well. Okay, so this was in the workspace for lesson planning, To Kill a Mockingbird. Why did that go that fast? There we go. So you can export it as a PDF. You can export it to your Google Drive as well. If you're using Google Classroom with your students, depending upon what level we're at, it can export it to that as well. Okay, transition planning. Who's in the transition era of things? Okay, how to plan that. Because you've got a student, or if you're doing so there's documentation in the Drive, and I'll show you that. Free AI for Indicator 13, as well as going between 18 and 21 as well. So there is a list in the Google Drive of free AI tools to help with that specific transition planning. Okay, for Indicator 13, I always have interesting jobs that my students wanted, and I'm like, okay, how do I do that? You know, I had one that had to be a pharmaceutical engineer. I was in Colorado at the time, just take that as you will. That was his Indicator 13, what he wanted to do in his life. So pharmacology, there we go. Great ways to do this, great tools to use for this, but I know it's a key aspect there. Policy summaries and research. Oh yes, you have all the time in the world, right? How many know that the Education Rights and Responsibilities came out in January 2026, and who has read the 195-page document? Yeah, ISB came out with the new one, January 2026. You hand out that 195-page document and your parents go, really? They don't have time to read it. Who's read it? Who hasn't read it? Yeah, okay. So I helped you out a little bit. There's a link to the documents in here in the Google Drive. What I did is I threw that up at the top. There's the prompt that I used. As a special education teacher for students with autism in an elementary school, self-contained classroom. You can change that however you want to. My results are based upon this, okay? Read the attached document and summarize in the TLDE. Does anybody know what TLDE means?
Too long, didn't read. Okay, it is a tech term we use often, TLDE, too long, didn't read. Okay, so I asked it to put it in that format. That's the format I wanted the result to be in, okay? For me, and an additional one that is parent-focused. So I want 2 documents. It certainly helped out. I added an add-on one is I wanted a simplistic language for parents as well. Anybody see a need for that? Okay. So in here, I did put the 195-page document in there for you in case you had free time. This is my first run for the parent one. This is what it put in here. A quick guide for special education in Illinois 2026, parent of elementary teachers with autism in Illinois. Isn't that nice? It specifically went to autism. You don't need to put that in your prompt if you want it to be for any special education student. Elementary, middle, high school, define it as you will. So these are the key things it found for a parent side of things, okay? You then are the person in the room that can edit this if you need to. Throw in your school policy with it if you'd like. Choice is yours, okay? But we're talking finding and identifying. What does child find? 4 bullets of what does child find. You know how many pages that is in that document? School support before special ed, what's available before you get put into that category there. What an evaluation is on the parent side, okay? Timelines, because how many times, thank you, how many times do they go over and over and over, okay? So there is a parent first run in there. There is I would take the word simple out of the document, just know that that was part of the prompt, okay? But this is it, big picture. You are not alone. Don't we want to tell that to some of our parents? Take a breath, okay? I think they did a really nice job. Copilot did this one for me, okay? How children get identified for help. This is a great, and I think it's 6 pages, 195, 6, boom. Good deal. Here's a brief outline for you. Here's where you can get the 195-page one, okay? So, option there, okay? The teacher one, I have, that's parent, teacher. There's a Word document and a PDF. So it's talking about the child find. Now this one does go for, how many pages? 6 as well. Bigger paragraphs, but it's talking about specific things you need to know. You could also put the previous one and the new one up at your chat bot and say, tell me what's different. Because that is kind of what we want to know. But if you've never read the first one, I suggest you just do this way, okay? All right, last thing I want to do, and I want some help with this because she's going to flag me down 5 minutes in a minute. Research. How many times do you get a paper and say, you've got this new student coming, they'll be there on Monday, and I want you to do everything for them, and it has a disorder that you've never heard of before? Anybody? Okay. And you go, I don't know what to do with that. Here's my prompt. Now, this one is not in the current slide deck that's on the thing because I wasn't sure where I was going to go with this yet. So if you do not take a picture of this, I'll change it out later this afternoon if I can. Does anybody have a disorder? I know I put my first person that came in on the spot, but she doesn't have to. But do you have a disorder that you might have had a student come in, you're like, I don't know what to do with this?
We've had one with just like traumatic brain injury, but that's one that can take on all different
True.
types.
Well, let's see what it says. And notice I can't spell. Oh, geez, I really can't spell. Oh, yeah, look at that. Horrible. Okay, traumatic. Injury needs to be spelled right. Okay, how old is the child?
3.
3. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, so notice it says, special education, self-contained, traumatic brain injury, child of 3 years old, generate the top 10 things I would need to know and be aware of. Okay, give it a quantity. And then I also want to know a table with a list of items such as helping interactions between students, all that good stuff. Copy. Pop up my Copilot. There I am. Paste. Okay, paste. And go. Copilot's going to think this through. Okay? You can ask it everything you want to ask. Now, when you ask it, really? Oh, it is thinking. Wi-Fi. There we go. Now it's thinking. See, he's thinking. Okay. You're having a conversation with the chat. If you ask it something and you go, that's not what I wanted, tell it that's not what I wanted. Can you do this? You're having a coffee conversation. Use it, okay? It tells you where it got information from. So here, top 10 things, fatigue and reduced stamina. Top thing you need to know about that, slower processing speed, behavioral and emotional changes. Okay, so these are the top 10 things, what I like, classroom support. Peer interactions, which is something I asked it to specifically target, okay? Gentle play, and then why this works. Always ask it to include something why it works, because when you hand this to a teacher or to a para, saying no is a human nature thing. Oh, I don't think I can do that. But if you tell them why it is important to do this, or if they say, well, how come? If you already tell them why it's important to do this, it keeps a lot of pushback out of the way, okay? It keeps a lot of pushback out of the way. Does this make sense? Rest breaks, emergency response, what to do if there's an emergency, because I specifically asked that, not knowing what disorder we had in there. And then, of course, the chat is always happy to say, what else can I do? A printable one-page staff handout? Yes, please. Okay? Continue the conversation. If it missed something in there, or you want more clarification, thank you. If you want more clarification, ask it for more clarification. Can you give me more details on how to model the third option? It will give you more details, okay?
Which systems do you use to do this?
This I did in Copilot. Yeah, Gemini will do about the same thing. So this is straight chatbot. Okay, you can click here to copy it, paste it in a Word document, make your editing, because you are the expert in the room. But of course, this is you're an expert on something you have nothing about. Know nothing about this yet. That's why you put it in there. Okay. It also then gives you all these links here, or where it got the information. Instead of doing Google search, how do I find information on traumatic brain injury for a 3-year-old child, and it comes back with 82,000 places to go. You want an understanding first before you want to go somewhere to get more. Chats can do that for you. Make sense? Okay, let's go a little bit more. That's the research portion of it all. What now? These are 3 things to start with: planning, documentation, strategies. 3 prompts you can start with at any time to just dive in a little bit, okay? Making your digital assistant. My next one, guidelines and guardrails, but I want to point out these 2 things at the bottom. If you need an online resource other than emailing me, Eric Curtis at Control-Alt-Achieve, phenomenal Google resources. He's making what's called GEMS. They're basically your own little chat bots to do things, and he does a lot of targeted special education GEMS as well. I strongly suggest going to visit his. And then Alice Keeler. Alice Keeler is the Google guru of everything. So those are my best 2 for any resources with AI within Google as well. She's your Google Forms and Google Sheets mastermind, okay? Mastermind there. Okay, end thing. Well, just because. There's my email address. Email address is the most important one there. Email, ask me questions. I'll be happy to connect you with resources that help with it, or show you how to do something if you have something that you're not sure what to do with. It's on there. Like I said, I had a lot of people yell at me when I built things because I just gave them all away. So they went, you need to do, okay, fine. So lots of resources on there, DLM standard resources, social emotional resources, things like that. And I went ahead and threw a sale. They allowed me to do 50% now. I thank that very much. So that's on there as well. There's a link to it, a QR code to it. Email me, though. I can help you with any questions you come into. Do you have something that does this? How would I do this? It's very hard to put in 1 hour everything AI can do for you. It's really difficult. Okay. Any questions? Yes?
I came in a little late, I apologize. Was there a link to your slides?
It's in the app. It's in the conference app. Has the slides there. Or you can email me and I can send you the slide deck as well. But yeah, I uploaded it yesterday to the app. So looking for the slide deck. Anybody else? No? All good? Awesome. Email if you have questions. Am I good? Fantastic. All right, thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference.